Leeroy Jenkins!
Welcome to
Every day is macaroni.
I'm Joy Alfred Brand.
And I'm Juliet Connell, and we're the hosts of Everyday Macaroni, the podcast.
This podcast is a look at the lighter side of life, where we talk about our adventures as a modern blended family.
So sit back, relax,
And prepare to have your funny bone tickled. Hello, listeners. Boy, do we have an extra special treat for you today. But before we get started, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to give this video a like, share it on your social media platforms, and subscribe to our channel while you're at it. That helps us create more super fun content like this for you, our one and only listener. For those of you who are new here, these episodes are based on the recordings of the weekly dinners I have with my husband, Ron, his sister, Juliet, who is also a co-host of this podcast, and their 80-year-old parents, Al and Lita. On today's episode, we're talking about some super fun pop culture topics, including video games and movies from the 70s, among other things. You're going to enjoy it for sure. And once again, we apologize for the wonky volume on the Monday night dinner clips. Our bad. It's as good as it's going to get for now. So let's go ahead and jump into the podcast, starting with a discussion about lasagna. Enjoy. So, how about Monday night dinner, huh?
How about it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what'd you think?
Well, first of all, I think we have to start off by talking about the meal itself.
Which one? Are we talking the lasagna?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my favorite, lasagna.
Mm-hmm.
That one's not so bad, other than the fact that for whatever reason, there were peppers in it. And I just
What do you mean for whatever reason?
Yeah, well, because my dad made it. But
what surprises me at this point is that you are surprised. That's what surprises me.
Well, there are certain things that are kind of like, don't touch it, right? And they know not to touch it. So when they make lasagna, they know it's my favorite. So you would think, that they make it, with sauce and the ricotta and the whole bit. But this time, then there were peppers in it. There were a couple of onions in it. I'm like, what in the world? So I don't know if it was already in the sauce that he bought, or if he added a couple more.
He made the sauce from a jar.
Mm-hmm.
So the way he made it, this lasagna, in some ways, and I got to be careful.
This lasagna, I do like ricotta cheese. I really do. And I think that that's why they put a bit in it. But I think they didn't have enough sauce in it. So it was kind of dry a little bit.
No.
But
that's not, that might have been a problem. I mean, I'm not a lasagna aficionado or whatever. I don't know a whole lot about it, but what I do know is when lasagna is good, and I know when it's bad. And I think what's happening is, and I got to be careful because, first of all, we don't go for the food, but this ranks up there with one of the worst lasagnas.
No.
Yes. Yes.
I don't think so.
Oh, that's because you've been eating that stuff for your whole entire life. But part of the problem was it was just a bunch of really thick lasagna noodles with a lot of ricotta cheese between.
Right.
And then the sauce. And that's it.
Yeah. Usually, and well, you know what? Usually there's meat in it.
Right. There was no meat.
I didn't realize that. They didn't
But
put
you know
any
what there
meat in
was?
there.
Lots of onions and peppers.
Uh-huh.
And the other thing that was noticeably absent from this lasagna? Salt or flavor. So your dad made this himself, and I think, I don't know, they missed the mark, I'm going to try to make it a little healthier, so I'm not going to put any salt in it, but I'm not going to try to improve the flavor or give it, I don't even know. And so he used a jar of sauce, and the jar of sauce obviously has onions and peppers.
Yeah, probably,
And it constantly surprises me that you're surprised that onions and peppers are in things. That's a big surprise to me.
Well.
Because it's been years. And it's pretty obvious to me that no matter what, they're going to cook with onions and peppers. And that's just how it's going to be.
That's right.
Just like they're going to put spicy stuff in Mexican food. Even though Ron doesn't like spicy food, they don't care. They know it. They've admitted it. Oh, I know. This one doesn't like beans. This one doesn't like onions and peppers. That one doesn't like spicy food. They don't care. They're going to make it the way they're going to make it.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
I'm on a rant today because I tell you, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, oh, and he gave you the world's biggest piece.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. He was cutting it and he's like, over here. I said, yeah. And then he moves the knife and I was like, what? And then he's like, oh, well, what about over here? Finally, after a while, it's like here. Do I cut it here? Do I cut it here? Do I cut it? Just cut it. And then it was like, oh, okay, let me give you a quarter of the entire lasagna. Mm-hmm. I was just like, okay, just put it on my plate. Mm-hmm. And he gave himself
an enormous piece.
Yeah, so I was happy to see that he didn't eat all of it, which was good. But I was just like,
that piece of
Lord.
lasagna. And I took a little video of it while he was shoveling it out.
I saw, yeah.
Oh, did you see the little video I put on Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I did.
Oh, my God. I could not believe.
I mean, it took up half the plate.
I know.
Right? Half a dinner plate.
A regular-sized dinner plate.
Oh, wow. That was a big plate. Yeah.
It was enormous. Mm-hmm. It was enormous. And I'm thinking to myself, hey.
But, I ate it all.
Well, you ate it all.
I gave up eating the bread, but I ate it all.
Well, yeah, but you really didn't eat anything else. I look over and there's a little pile of peppers that you've picked out.
I know.
I did not get a picture of that, which I should have. But I was hesitantly excited about the lasagna. And then I started eating it and I was, and my piece was screaming hot.
Which was good. I kept saying, I was like, oh my God, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Their food is always so lukewarm, almost cold, that I was like, holy cow, they finally made something hot.
But the reason it's usually cold is because they make it early in the day and they just leave it in the oven to warm.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And leaving it in the oven to warm,
and
and it dries it out. And they're warming it for hours. They should be like, oh, okay, it's almost 4:00. Let me stick it in the oven on high and then heat it up, not keep it warm, but heat it up because nothing's ever boiling. Nothing's ever hot.
Yeah.
Everything is just lukewarm.
Yep.
Lukewarm, cold. Lukewarm, cold. And you're like, oh my gosh, it makes it just that much more unappealing.
But I was so excited. I'm like, okay. I was hesitantly excited. I mean, I temper my excitement because I'm like, oh, here's something, okay, that could be like meatloaf, right? Yeah. Oh, it could be good. You never know. And then you eat it and you're like, oh, man. You look at it and you're like, one time they got a takeout pizza. Ron and I were having dinner over there and they had gotten the pizza way early, right? And Ron drove straight from work and he's asking me, hey, what are they having for dinner? And I said, oh, it's takeout pizza. And Ron's like, oh, okay, hey, takeout pizza, right? Great. And he's excited about it, right? Because it's good. It's good to have takeout pizza. You enjoy it, right? And they had gotten the pizza like at
12.
2:00. Well, yeah, like at 2:00. And dinner was like at 5:30.
Yeah.
And so they put the pizza in the oven and turned it on to like warm. And it continued to cook the pizza and dry it out. And it was terrible. And then they put anchovies on it. Like they took a jar of anchovies and opened the jar and then put anchovies on it and then the slices that they gave to Ron, they picked the anchovies off, but there's still like essence of anchovy right on the pizza, and he's sitting there eating it and he's just like, man, never a break when it comes to the food. But I was hesitantly excited. Then I sat down and started eating it, and I was like, oh, I'm telling you.
I was okay with it, other than the fact that when I started to find those peppers, I was like, what in the world? Where are these coming from? But, and you're right. I did not even realize that there wasn't meat in there, because usually you have meat sauce.
No, that was just noodles, ricotta cheese, and sauce. A sauce from a jar.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like a real lasagna.
Mm-hmm.
Like a real traditional lasagna. No, you can get lasagna without meat in it.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But this was
usually like a vegetable
slap.
Yeah, a ton of noodles and then sauce and a ton of ricotta. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was underwhelmed by it. But it could have been worse.
It could have been. It could have been Lloyd's ribs. Again.
Well, we have a lot of those ribs, right? And it's not that there's anything wrong with the ribs necessarily, But
then he slaps on a ton of barbecue sauce on there.
He gets the ribs and he takes them out of the package because they're all pre-cooked, right? Mm-hmm. Then he puts them on the pan and then he gets a container of some type of generic barbecue sauce and really glops it on.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why, because they've already got
a
sauce.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure what the extra sauce or whatever is about. I don't know either. Anyway, so there's a couple things I think we should talk about from Monday Night Dinner. And I think one of the most important things we ought to talk about is Leeroy Jenkins.
Yeah, Ron was quite excited about Leeroy. And I was like, who's Leeroy?
I know. I had no idea.
I don't know who Leeroy is.
I had no idea.
What? You don't know who Leeroy Jenkins is? I'm sure a lot of you Xbox Live players know exactly who Leeroy Jenkins is. See, I don't even get it right. But it was news to me.
Well, it was hysterical. Once in a while, we start talking about something that your parents have no idea what we're talking about.
Right.
And it's funny because we're talking about it and we're laughing. And they're like right. I don't know what's funnier, watching them watch us or watching them trying to figure out what we're talking about.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Usually one of us has to stop.
And explain it.
Explain it.
Right.
Yeah.
Usually it's you.
Yeah, because Ron will lead them astray. You know, he'll be like, well, like, no, that's not what.
Now, he'll try
really
to,
is.
I don't know, he'll make up some cockamamie thing, and your mother, of course, will believe it.
What?
Well, if you tell me, I believe it. Let's listen to the clip, and then we'll comment on it.
They're going to start training me for the other one.
You will be happy.
You're going to have to talk to people? Are they going to give you a little thing with that thing? Yeah? I was going to say, because if you don't, you go get with Caitlin, and you could borrow hers.
Yeah.
What?
Right, Rover, this is, I'm ready to go through. Kick the door in. Okay, everybody on me. Playing her games with the thing, and they
Xbox Live.
Xbox Live. Okay, ready? Leeroy Jenkins! Leeroy, no, don't go in yet! You're screwing it all up! Stop it right now! Leeroy! Get back on! Stop it! Guys, on me!
No one knows what he's talking about.
Right, so you can hear your mother. She kind of laughs.
She's laughing because he's making all those noises.
Right, because he's talking in a funny kind of way.
Yeah.
But she totally doesn't get.
To be clear, I don't even know what he's talking about at this point. At this point, he's just like saying it as if we all totally understand what's going on. Not a clue.
No, that's not what I mean. You do understand what's going on. You understand what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah. I understand what he's talking about. I didn't understand the actual skit that he was starting.
That
I had no idea.
You and I have never heard of that. I mean, I've never heard of Leeroy Jenkins. I mean, I've had a job. And a life.
Right. Yeah.
And whatever. I don't. Who's got the time? Mm-hmm. God bless you if you got time to sit down and play the video games and do whatever. I'm not discounting that as a pastime or a hobby or whatever. Mm-hmm. But some people get really, really into it. I know people get paid to play them and they get paid to stream it and all that kind of stuff. But okay, so that was the first clip, right? Mm-hmm. But the second clip, the reason the second clip is funny is because he plays a little bit of the recording. Right? Not the whole thing, because it's like, I don't know, 3 minutes long. But we start making commentary about the recording.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And you can tell that your parents are like totally silent during the whole exchange, right?
Yeah, because they have no idea. What is that?
No idea.
Because we Google everything.
Of course.
Everything, all the time, continuously Googling.
Right.
Who's going to Google?
Quick draw Google.
So now they have some sort of recording, and they're like, uh-oh, they're at it again.
And it's funny. Mm-hmm. It's very funny. Here's the next clip.
And then, okay, guys, on me. On the count of 3, we're going to go.
I don't even know where he got that voice.
Leeroy Jenkins. No, Leeroy, stop right
Where
now.
is that from?
Yeah, remember that was like a big thing, where they were playing these video games like that.
I don't know what he's
and they were
talking
supposed to enter whatever, I don't know what, a castle, fortress, whatever. And then the guy was like, "Okay, guys,
Is it from
get
a
ready."
movie though? Or?
No, it was a video game and someone recorded it and it went viral because
Oh.
this guy just yells, "Leeroy Jenkins!" Storms in. And they're like, "No, Leeroy, what are you doing? You're ruining it. You're going to get us all killed. Ah! Oh, man. I'm dead," you know? And that became the scream now that everyone was like, "Leeroy Jenkins!" Like, what are you doing?
It's funny
It
when
was
he
raw
finds
and
something amusing
popular, like,
because
years
kind of
back.
social media kind of stuff. He's not,
Right.
you know,
Right.
he's not a big.
He doesn't get on social media.
Look at that. I was too busy going to court.
I was busy doing stuff, but everyone kept talking about it.
Yeah, I was
so
busy
much and
doing
yelling
stuff,
it.
too.
It was just the funniest thing. I was like, "What is that?" And like,
Yeah,
who's
we
gonna
were
sit
doing
around and
good
watch
jobs.
people play video
Raising
games?
kids.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Had to. That little pastime.
Going to work, raising
I
kids.
didn't even have to finish typing it,
Oh boy.
and it popped right up.
So he's Googling, quick draw Google.
And here we go.
That's right.
Leeroy Jenkins. Let's see if this is it.
The other day I saw the
Okay.
Great Race.
So, all right. So Ron finds the clip and he starts to play it, right? And your dad, out of nowhere, trying to be part of the conversation,
Starts talking.
starts talking about this movie, this old movie, right?
Right.
Which, okay, part of this, it's amusing because in a way, your dad is kind of Leeroy Jenkins, right?
Aren't both of them just very oblivious to whatever's going on around them?
You're making a plan?
You know what?
Forget it. No.
Let's just.
Okay, listener. Do you see the similarities between Al and Leeroy Jenkins? Take, for example, Al's cooking, specifically the lasagna. Follow a recipe and leave out the day-old bologna? Oh no! Let's go full-on Leeroy Jenkins and use up whatever animal, vegetable, or mineral that might be about to turn and stick it in the lasagna. This happened once with green peas. No joke. I'm not kidding at all. Al made a veggie lasagna with a whole layer of green peas that were getting, a little wrinkly in the fridge. And it was an enormous pan of lasagna, so there was a week's worth of leftovers for all to enjoy. A plan is not something you stick to. It's just a suggestion. We now return to our podcast episode that is already in progress.
Here, Ron's like, "Hey, let me play a clip." And then this is when my dad decides to have some sort of conversation about a movie.
It's like squirrel.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what?
But he talks for a minute about movies. And so I almost think like we should do a regular segment, your dad reviewing movies.
Yeah.
Because he does this all the time. And I don't know, he's trying to join in on the conversation, but he's so off base that it's just funny. Okay, let's listen to Al do a movie review for a few minutes.
Okay.
It's pretty funny.
Right, the Great Race.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I thought this was a remake, but no, it's the original.
It's a race from New York to Paris.
Yeah, but is that a newer version or
car.
is it the old one?
The old
By car?
the real one, yeah.
How does that work? It was an old one.
Eh,
It's a comedy movie.
yeah.
It's not.
It's
a
Jack
real one.
Lemmon
Yeah, it's
and
old.
Peter Fox
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
and
Peter Falk.
How do they get their cars
Not
from
Peter
the United
Fox.
States
you should
Peter
see.
Falk.
They go through the pole.
to the North Pole? Wow. Isn't Burt Reynolds in that too?
No,
I was thinking Cannonball Run. Sorry.
Right.
no, it's Curtis.
Tony Curtis.
Tony Curtis.
That one,
And Natalie Wood. Yeah, but the thing is
You sure it
Peter
wasn't-
Fox and Jack Lemmon. They make you laugh like you don't believe
Like you don't believe.
all the things that happen through the in the 1800s or something like that. And so the cars.
You can hear your mother.
at that
1800s.
era.
1800s. Do they have cars in the 1800s? Wait a minute.
You ought to know. You were there.
They have a lot of imagination to do those things.
Well, you
Don't
figure they
forget
probably
that
had no
Netflix,
money.
the DVD.
They probably had no money to make movies,
Yeah.
so imagination went far. And no Pixar or
Disney
or any
whatever.
of that kind of stuff, right?
So we talk a lot about a bunch of different movies, right? But it is kind of entertaining to hear Ron talk to your dad about the whole Netflix situation, because you can tell there's a point in the conversation where your dad shifts gears from being interested in hearing what Ron has to say to, you're telling me what to do. Right? See if you can pinpoint in the conversation when your dad has had kind of his moment of,
All right. I'll
okay,
say, there it is.
there it is. Okay.
Don't forget, Netflix, the DVDs are going away.
Yeah.
You won't be able to have them anymore after September. So, my suggestion to you is,
Here we go.
as soon as you get a DVD movie, watch it, put it back in the mail, so you get another one. Watch it, you put it back, so you can see as much as you can before September, because then it goes away. Then you're only left with Netflix on the TV.
I see.
And they don't have as many.
What we all watch.
Yeah, but they don't have as many movies. You can't get any of these movies.
Yeah, they've got all those old movies.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you hear it? It's like when he clucks his tongue.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, That's when his annoyance meter is like, yeah, okay, I hear you. I hear you, Sonny.
It's like, you no need to explain.
I'm not stupid.
I understand. No more splaining. No more.
You don't need to explain nothing.
I get it.
Oh, that's so funny. And then right about this time, when your mother, she's, again, in her own world, right? But she's not participating in the conversation.
No.
So she goes off and pursues her own plan, right? So she comes around and she picks up everybody's plates. And she starts singing.
Yeah.
I would get rid of it too, but because we
There.
have the
She's picking up the
Spanish,
plates, right?
The Spanish channel. Yeah.
There she starts singing, right? She's in the kitchen, rinsing the plates, and she
I'm
starts
looking
singing.
serious now. But
Anybody for salad?
La 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 la.
No.
She's
She's had a giant piece of lasagna.
Okay.
Thank
She's
you.
already picked up the
Very
plates.
Right. It's already gone. Where are we going to put the salad?
Right.
Hold it.
You didn't finish it.
no, I don't. I serve myself a big piece.
Well, no dessert then for you.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I'm telling him,
Oh
stop.
my God.
It's good that he didn't eat his
diet
whole,
wine.
everything
Right.
on the plate.
So the whole dynamic is just so funny. Your mother has picked up the plates. She goes in the kitchen, right? She comes back for Al's plate. He's still got a bunch of his lasagna left over, but she is in her own world. Does anybody want salad? And she's already picked up the plates.
Yeah.
So funny. So, what we were talking about before, Leeroy Jenkins, right?
I know. Ron was like, hey, I found it. Let me play it. And he hits play, and all of a sudden, my dad starts talking, and he's like, okay. Let me put that on pause.
Right. Here's the next clip. Of course, your mother's still singing in the kitchen.
All right, play your little video.
Anything off this guy, or can you bypass him? I think Leeroy needs something from this guy. Oh, he needs us without shoulders? Isn't he a paladin? Yeah, but that'll help him heal better. I'll have more mana.
Oh, this is like 3 minutes long.
Well, what we'll do, I'll run in first, gather up all the eggs,
So
and
this-
kind of just
this guy's
pass them all down if they-
Coming up with this big game plan.
I'll really use intimidating shout to kind of scatter them so we don't have to fight a whole bunch of them at once. When my shout's done, I'll need Anthony to come in and drop his shout too.
Let me see if I can forward a little.
Scatter, so we can, of course,
Boy, that guy's going on and on. Good grief.
He's
No,
got
yeah,
a
he was taking it
plan.
very seriously. He's got,
Oh my God, like as if he's in the actual military or something. When really, you know, he's downstairs in his mother's basement. I know. With no girlfriend ever.
usually do.
Like never.
Stick to the plan. Let's go.
stick with the plan. No, let's go.
Stick to the plan.
Stick to the plan.
Keep it my intervention. Hurry up. Shall I can't move my leg.
I can't move my leg.
Oh my God.
Like what?
Keep saying all that. More responding. I don't think you can cast with that. Oh my God.
what movie is that?
It's a bunch of virgins
It's
playing a
It's
video
a game, right?
Damn it, Leeroy.
Jim, this is ridiculous.
This is ridiculous.
I'm down, put me down.
So it's a game, right? It's one of those video games.
Oh, okay.
So what you do is you get all of your friends together, and they're all in their own houses, but everyone you get and you're playing the exact same game, and you can hear the other players because it's live. So your friend across the street and other ones, they're all playing the same game, and you can all hear each other playing the game, and everyone's watching it.
She has
and
no
everyone
idea.
is a different character in the game.
So when you see the guy over here to your left, it's your friend.
Right.
And he talks and he goes, hey, I'm going to go over here. And then you can see him go over there and you talk.
Right.
Almost like if you were on the playground, but you're in different homes all over the place.
So then there's always one that wants to be the leader. Okay, we're going to do this, guys.
Okay.
Blah, blah, blah. And blah, blah, blah. And he takes it like super serious. That's what was so funny about that, right? And then there's another guy, a fool, obviously. One of their friends is just like, screw it. And he goes and he's like, and he takes his little character and he starts running towards the castle or whatever it is. And he's screaming his name. Leeroy, Jenkins! You know what I mean? Like, ah! And then the serious kid is like,
Geronimo!
what? You're ruining it! You're gonna have us all killed! Blah, blah, blah.
And they did. That's the funny thing. Because the guy's making the plan. Okay, this is what we're going to... And then after I do this, then you do this. And then after that... And then Leeroy goes, okay, guys, let's just do this. Leeroy Jenkins! Well, oh my God, what's he doing? No, come back. He just took off. He just ran. Oh! Oh, I just got hit. Oh, I can't move
my legs.
I can't move
my legs.
Damn it, Leeroy.
This is so
That was the funniest thing. So
That has to be fun.
someone recorded all of it and they put it on the internet, of course, and now everyone listened to it, and it's the funniest thing because that kid just was like, forget it, listen.
Did you hear you say, I can't feel my legs?
Oh my gosh. Well, look. So that in a nutshell right there, right, is what Ron and I have had to do all our lives, right? Is kind of explain it and put it into perspective for my parents. They're like, "What?
Yeah.
What ridiculous thing are they talking about?" Well, let me tell you.
Right.
You're like, okay, do we need to dumb it down this time? Do we need to use,
Stick figures.
Stick figures, right. It was just like, okay, how do we do this to make them understand what it is that's going on, right?
Well, your dad may have understood a little, but your mother had no clue.
No. No,
You can always
I
tell
don't
when
think
she
so.
doesn't understand.
Because she just keeps
She goes,
laughing.
oh, yes.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. That means she has no clue.
No clue. I could care less. All right.
Oh, but it goes on. And there's something else funny in here.
And the other guys were so serious,
I like that one. I can't feel my legs. I'm like, what? I can't move my legs.
It's like, oh boy. Damn it, Leeroy.
It's like when we used to go to Matt and Linda's house, and Matt was playing him Dungeons and Dragons over there. Remember? He would play that. He was so serious. Him and his little geek friends. We're like, oh. And Linda was like, yeah, don't go near them because they get all serious when they play that game.
So,
yeah, I'm
in their mom's basement. I don't mean to stereotype the geek out there, but I'm just saying. So, we have some exciting news for this podcast episode. Did you know that YouTube now has a podcast platform?
Really?
So they are specifically promoting podcasts on YouTube. Whereas before, we did the video version of the podcast and we just posted it as a video on our YouTube channel, right? Well, now YouTube is singling podcasts out and promoting them.
Wow.
So for all those people who are interested in podcasts, you now have another platform to choose from. So I in my industriousness, have converted all of our podcast episode videos into a podcast channel specifically on YouTube. So if you're looking for podcasts, you'll find us. You'll find us there.
Nice.
You'll see us there anyway if you're looking, and you should be looking, because why not?
Right. I know.
So that's exciting news. You don't care at all. Not even a little. Look at you. You're like, that's you. That's not me.
I still listen. I don't even watch it on I don't watch it on the YouTube. I do the
It's like I'm here by
iTunes.
myself.
I do the iTunes.
It's like I'm here by myself.
Because I put it on in the kitchen and I get ready.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can understand that. And partly it's a podcast, so that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. However, it is important to try to...
Yeah, capture a wider audience.
Right.
Yeah. With
cast a wider net on
Yep.
different platforms. My platform of choice typically is YouTube, because I do like the videos. And I have made a lot of different videos for the channel too. In fact, do you remember the chocolate cake from not too long ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I made a video with that too. Because we had to bring it home, remember?
Yes. I remember.
That terrible chocolate cake. Did we talk about it?
I don't know.
We talked about it at Monday Night Dinner, but we haven't recorded in a while.
Yeah.
So you and I have not talked about it. Mm-hmm. But we brought that cake home, and I made a video of the cake. So at some point, I'll post that on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Because,
I'll look at it.
once in a while, we actually get live specimens of the food. And that's always super
All I can
fun.
see you is in like a pair of goggles and a lab coat.
With my...
All right, here we go. Chink.
Yes, with my rubber gloves. Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't eat any of it because, again, that's a mix of... He gets it wrong with the sugar-free stuff.
Oh, well, yeah, for sure. He does. He gets it wrong with a lot of recipes, but, he tries. Plus, you're not a sweet eater anyway, so...
No.
More
And
than likely, Ron and I will try it.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah.
It was a Frankenstein soccer tort, remember?
Yes.
So he tried to make his own soccer tort,
Yeah.
which the versions of it are getting worse and worse. They just are.
Well, this one was too tall, I think. I think he made it a little too high. It was more like a traditional cake as opposed to a tort, which is a little denser, is a little, more, it's shorter, it doesn't have a rise on it. So
I don't know, but it wasn't, I didn't really try it, so I can't say whether it was good or not.
No, it was kind of his version of the soccer tort. It was actually a chocolate cake with apricot filling. That's it.
Well, and then he put regular icing on top of it, right?
Yeah, and then he put regular icing.
And then he stuck the pecans all over it, and then put a cherry right on top.
Yep.
Yeah. And by the time we got it home, it was starting to get really, really wet somehow. It was weird. I don't know if it's from
the humidity.
I don't know if it's from being covered or if it was the apricot stuff on there. Because wasn't the apricot like sugar-free? I don't know, but it was really wet. So I did make a video of that. And at some point, I'm gonna go ahead and post it. Well, listener, if you want to see the video I did of the Frankenstein soccer tort, stay tuned to our YouTube channel or check out our Instagram page, where I've already posted a picture of it in all its deliciousness. Yummy. And how about that movie review? Pretty exciting, am I right? I get such a kick out of Al's contributions to Monday Night Dinner. I really do. He always has something funny to say, even if he has no idea who Leeroy Jenkins is, like the rest of us, except Ron. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to apologize for possibly offending any of the geeks out there who really do live in their mom's basements and kill it on Xbox between taking out the garbage and cutting the grass. You are good enough, you're smart enough, and doggone it, people like you. Unless you're the Leeroy Jenkins who charged into combat in World of Warcraft back in 2005. If you're that dude, you're on your own. Okay, FYI, we do know that video is fake. If we hear any different, we'll let you know. This has been a public service announcement from the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Geeks, reminding you that it's okay today to geek. I hope you enjoyed listening and sharing a laugh or two with us. Stay tuned for more everyday macaroni adventures on future podcast episodes. And if you want to see some pictures of us, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook by searching @everydaymacaroni or #everydaymacaroni. And now you can also watch us on YouTube. Just search Everyday Macaroni and our new channel will pop up. If you want to shop for some fun macaroni merch, head over to everydaymacaroni.com. Don't forget, if you have a blended family story to share, email us at info@everydaymacaroni.com and put the word share in the subject line. You can also call us on our Macaroni Fun Phone at 919-729-2043. Your story might end up on a future episode, and how fun would that be? Super fun. Finally, don't forget to give us a good review and download your favorite episodes. A share would be nice too. The more interaction we get for the podcast, the more episodes we can post. Again, thanks for listening, and join us for the next episode of